at all your Nikes. Look at all your shoes behind you. Why do you have them stacked up like that?
Just because I don't have too much room living in the city, so I train with the guy that runs Nike, so I get a pretty good deal with them, a little sponsorship deal with them, so I have a lot of shoes and stuff.
If I talked to you this time last year, where you were doing your thing on the BJJ circuit, you were kicking ass, black belt, all this stuff, but you hadn't quite entered the Conor world, the MMA world, would that Dillon Danis a year ago? What would he say about what's happened to you now? I feel like your celebrity has just gone to a whole other level. A lot has changed for you. Could you have predicted this?
I knew it since the beginning. I mean, obviously Conor advanced it and it sped up the process, but I knew I was going to get here one way or another. I knew that I was destined for greatness, and even jiu-jitsu, people knew that I was going to be the best. I mean, if you watch me, people know that I taught the talk, I walk the walk, and I'm the only really jiu-jitsu guy out there that could do it all. He has fashion. He has he could talk. He could do everything. You know, most jiu-jitsu guys are the same. They all say the same things. They all post the same thing. So I was always outside the pack in that realm. So I always knew I was going to get to where I was. So
do you think that's why you have such a good connection with Conor, because you are like that? You're not afraid to just stick out and be different than everyone else, be different than the pack?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's why I think that me and him get along really well, because we're kind of similar in that sense where we don't really give a fuck, that we just do. We are who we are, and we don't really hide it. We don't shy away from what people say about us. You know, like, I'm still gonna be me. I don't care what the haters say. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm gonna do what I feel is, right about me, and he's the same way.
And what do you say to the people who say, like, you're trying to be Conor McGregor, you're acting like Conor McGregor, social media, what you say, your interviews? Have you always been this way, or has he influenced you that much?
I mean, go behind when I met him in my Instagram post, you could see I was saying the same stuff. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Obviously, being around Conor would make me a little bit more like him, I guess. But I was always been like this since I was born. So, yeah, it's no act. That's what people keep saying. Oh, he's acting like this because he met Conor. But when they see me face to face, they look away and they run. So, there's no act here. This is all me. And if you come and meet me, I'm the same way.
In a weird way, do you feel like you're kind of like a savior for the BJJ community? Like, this is what they needed. You're the guy who needed to spice up the sport?
I mean, I think so. I'm the only one that goes to a Knick game, and the Knicks know who I am. I'm the only one that goes on the streets and people are screaming my name. That's what I said when I transcend the sport. There's not like, who's the best guy in jiu-jitsu, Bashesha or someone like that. I mean, Bashesha, much respect to him. He's an amazing athlete, but if you go on the street, probably no one really know who he was or stuff like that, So, I mean, who's going to basketball games, football games, hanging out with OBJ? The guys know me. I have rappers hitting me up and stuff. So, I mean, I think I transcend the sport, unlike other jiu-jitsu guys. I mean, I think I'm the one building the sport up. I mean, how many other people are getting that? How many people know who a jiu-jitsu fighter is? When I go to the next game, Porzingis is like, oh, that's a jiu-jitsu fighter, Dillon Danis. I mean, how many people, other jiu-jitsu guys would know that?
Wait a second. You're hanging out with Kristaps Porzingis? What is going on here? What is happening to you at the Knicks games? Tell us, please. I'm jealous.
I mean, well, it was with all the players, but he was a fan, and he was saying that,
what?
Like, oh, the jiu-jitsu guy here, Dillon Danis is here. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And he came and he hung out with me, and I introduced him to my little brother.
That's incredible.
So, I mean, how many other jiu-jitsu guys are doing that? I'm the only one transcending the sport. I'm the only one that's talking to rappers. I'm the only one that's hanging out with all these guys and pushing the sport forward, So I think that's when I said it's a fact, it's a fact.
So, you live in New York City, just a few blocks from MSG. What was it like for you that week, 205, world's most famous arena? You're with Conor, you're with the show, you're with the attraction, the Rolls Royce and all that stuff. And there you are cornering him. I mean, for someone like you who's from here to be a part of that, what was that like?
Yeah, that was truly a special moment. And I think he knew that it would be cool for me. Like, it's a special thing for me, like living here and growing up here the past 4 years. It was surreal. I mean, to walk out with him and, me and him are so close now, to see him make history in my hometown. It was really unbelievable feeling, being in the streets, feeling all the presence of people. I would park on the street to go get food and people would be running up to the car. it was a really unbelievable feeling. It's nothing that you can match, but the only thing that I could say about it is that it drove me to be there one day and to do the same thing and win belts in MSG. And I mean, that was always my goal since the beginning, but to feel the energy of the arena, I can't explain what it does, like it did to me, or what it does to me. It drives me to feel the same thing.
Were you needed as much in this camp? Eddie's a different fighter than Nate, doesn't have the BJJ background that Nate does. Did they lean on you as much as they did, or were you less needed this time around?
this time it was a little bit more wrestling and a little
Okay.
bit more like, I mean, people think that just because you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you can't do other. I don't know. It's a weird little thing that people think. But during this fight, I could be a wrestler. I could be I've wrestled before. I could be a guy that shoots doubles and then holds in the guard. It doesn't pass guard. So all I did was mimic Eddie's style, and I did a lot. I studied a lot of tape on him to do that. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I was used for this camp a lot. I would do 3 rounds or 2 rounds with Connor straight, just trying to take him down and then hold him. Not as much as a jiu-jitsu guy where I'm taking the back and I'm doing stuff like that. More just being a kind of stocky wrestler, and then they would have Artem come in and throw hands. So I was more just there for the grappling.
And when you talk about, dreaming of winning belts at MSG and things like that, do you mean in MMA or in BJJ?
In MMA.
Oh yeah.
In jiu-jitsu, I mean, at the level I'm at, the level I'm getting jiu-jitsu too, it might be like that one day. It might be an MSG where I'm winning world titles.
Yeah.
So one day they're gonna need a big arena to hold me in there.
So how far away are we from you realizing that MMA dream, you debuting in MMA?
Actually, I think very close. Like,
Oh,
there's a fight. There's a fight in February that I've been offered, but it's the same day as a jiu-jitsu tournament. Right now, I'm in that dilemma of take the fight or take the jiu-jitsu tournament. So it's I'm gonna have to make my mind up soon. But I feel like it would be soon. I mean, after being at that fight, it kind of it was like I have to do this. Is what I want to do. But I mean, obviously, I love jiu-jitsu and I love the gi. I love competing in jiu-jitsu. I love everything about jiu-jitsu. So it is a hard choice for me, but make no mistake about it. If I go to MMA, I'm going to dominate and I will win the belt.
which promotion is this for in February, the MMA fight?
CFFC.
Oh, okay. That's great. Here
Yeah.
on the East
I
Coast.
get a lot of offers. Yeah. I mean, that was the main thing about it. I liked that being the East Coast and all my friends and family would be able to go. But I mean, we'll see what we could do.
Okay, so but if you don't take that fight, it's inevitable. It's happening in 2017.
100%. Yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, I'm young. I'm 23, and I have so many options. So, I mean, I could really do anything. I have the world in my hands right now at 23, so I can choose and pick and choose what I want to do.
Did you want to become an MMA fighter before meeting Conor?
Yes,
You did.
yes. Yeah, when I was 15 or probably 16 or 17, the place I was at, the training, jiu-jitsu training, I was a little bit above it in my where my skill level was. So I couldn't really get too many good rounds. So I would train with the MMA team on the ground, like Jim Miller, Charlie Brenneman, and a lot of good fighters actually that came out of New Jersey at AMA Fight Club. I was kind of the young kid, and I was a jiu-jitsu guy, but I would do the MMA classes with them just to get good training in sometimes. So I learned quick the school of hard knocks. So I know what it's like to be in there, and I knew what it was like going into Conor, and that's why I did so good training with Conor and the team at SBG. And yeah, I always wanted to do MMA. It was just when and where.
Can you make a good living as a BJJ star? Like, can you actually, and obviously you're not making Conor money because that's impossible for anyone but Conor to make. But, for those of us that don't know, like, how much money can you make as a BJJ star?
It's hard. I mean, jiu-jitsu life it's a hard life, but you can make money if you hustle and you grind and you kind of know what you're worth. The thing about jiu-jitsu guys, they don't know what they're worth and they sell themselves short, and then it kind of fucks up everybody else in jiu-jitsu because then you're not really if someone accepts free clothes for something, why is someone else gonna get
Sure.
money? You know what I mean? So you have to know what you're worth, and you have to put yourself out there, and you have to be stern with what you're asking for and what you're demanding. So yeah, if you want to make money in jiu-jitsu, you can. You just gotta work your ass off, and you gotta do privates, you gotta teach, you gotta go seminars, you gotta do a lot of things. So it is possible, but it's a lot of hard work, and that's why jiu-jitsu guys are so tough.
Here's what I like about you. You're brutally honest. So I want to ask you about this because, we've seen the rise of a lot of these BJJ promotions, and they use a lot of MMA fighters to cater to the likes of myself, who doesn't follow BJJ as much just because MMA is 24/7. So let me ask you about a couple of them. You tell me what you think of them, all right?
All right, yeah.
Metamoris, what do you think?
I mean, the things that they did I hear were sketchy, but I could honestly say that Hollick has never done anything bad to me. He's paid me on time, and he's never done anything bad to me, but he has made some bad decisions with his company. But Hollick is a good guy, and I think that he'll persevere.
EBI?
I like the promotion. I like Eddie Bravo a lot, but the rule set is not my favorite. I think I think it kind of hurts the pure essence of jiu-jitsu, where these guys start on the back and then they submit the guy and then they act like they actually submitted them. I think that's a little bit of bullshit, but I would compete in it, and I love Eddie Bravo, and I think it's a good promotion, but I think the rule set needs to be changed.
You froze on us, but we can still hear you, so I'll fight through this. Maybe the video is going to come back. Polaris?
You want me to try to fix it? Polaris is awesome. I have nothing bad to say about them. They help the sport a lot. They're amazing, and they're a bunch of great guys. So I have nothing. They're amazing promotion. I mean, I'm happy to work with them again.
And then this coming Sunday, as you may know, Chael Sonnen has his second grappling show, Submission Underground, headlined by John Jones and Dan Henderson. A lot of MMA fighters on that card. What do you think of his promotion?
I think that's the same thing as EBI in the rule set, but
Yeah.
I mean, Chael Sonnen is a legend in the sport, and he actually texted me about being in it. I wanted to fight John Jones in it.
Oh,
I don't think he's gonna be able to do another match in it. I think that would be a pretty cool matchup. I would love to do that, but I think he's obviously gonna go back to MMA, so that would probably not happen. But I think that would be an awesome match to have.
what weight would you compete at if you were competing in MMA?
I think I would start out 170, and then I could probably do 155 later on, but probably 170. I mean, 185. The weight doesn't matter. You know, I can dominate any weight class.
Are these promotions coming up? Are they hurting like the ADCCs of the world and like those tournaments that used to sort of be the heart and soul of BJJ, or do they help them in your opinion?
Depends on which tournament. The tournaments that make these weird rule sets, they give guys a false sense of confidence, thinking that they're the best when they're not really the best, which I think is something. I mean, there are guys that win these tournaments are really good, but there's other guys that they get this false sense of confidence, thinking that they're starting on someone's back and choking them. Now they're the best in the world. But ADCC is, everybody knows that's where it's at. That's the real stuff. ADCC Worlds and IBGF Worlds and the GI. That's the two biggest ones. Those are the ones that if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you know that's the best.
What are the chances that you compete in an MMA fight first or a high-level BJJ match? What do you think happens first? Next.
Well, next, I mean, I'm leaning towards MMA just because
Damn.
a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people out there that doubt me, and I could shut them up. I mean, obviously I do it for myself, but there's a lot of questions. I like to answer questions, and so I mean, it is a hard choice because the tournament that is there is it's a big one, and I really want to do it too and get some revenge because I didn't do so good the last time. But it is a hard choice to make. But I'm gonna talk to my team and make the decision.
Which tournament are you talking about?
It's a Copa Podio lightweight Grand Prix.
Okay.
It's a really good tournament. Yeah, Copa Podio.
I like the way you say Grand Prix and not Grand Prix.
Yeah. Pride. Let's go Pride, friends.
If you train in MMA, will you train over in Dublin at SBG for a fight?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to talk to Conor and John about that, but I would imagine I would go there for a month or two or something like that, or live there. I'm really close with John Kavanaugh too, so whatever my decision is, I would talk to him about it. He's one of my mentors and stuff, and Conor is one of my mentors, so talking to them about it first, and then we would make a decision and then figure it out. So I have great teammates here that brought me to where I am. So I have a lot of great things in my life. So if I do make the choice, I'm gonna have a lot of people behind me.
What about stateside? Do you have a team here?
I mean, yeah, Marcel Garcia is my team, and
For MMA?
For MMA, not so much, but I grew up in the MMA kind of culture, so I have a lot of friends that would help me. I have sparring, I have everything I need here, but obviously SBG would be would be my obviously choice to go if I was gonna fight MMA. But yeah, I have a lot of good people here that would help me, and if I fight, I mean, it's not brain science what I'm gonna do. So
Sure.
obviously I have the best jiu-jitsu team in the world. So I mean,
as you know, recently Conor was, I guess, stripped, if you want to call it that, of his featherweight title. He's not necessarily agreeing to this. In fact, today on his Instagram, he posted a picture of him holding the two belts as he was entering a private plane, it seems. What do you make of how the UFC treated Conor by taking away his belts and clearly not him being on board with this?
yeah, I mean, it's sad. It is sad. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's been champions that have been out for longer, and Conor's one of the most active fighters on the roster, so it doesn't make any sense. But at the end of the day, the way I know the way he thinks and I know the way I think, we're very similar in our thoughts, and the way we see it is like doesn't matter what they do, they have to come take it off us. So no one's gonna go and get that belt from him. And you know, Jose Aldo could say he's a champ, but everybody knows what happened, and the belts really mean nothing. He's out to be the best fighter in the world, and everybody knows that. So, and at the end of the day, that's what matters to him is being the best in the world, and that's what he is.
How pissed was he when he heard about this?
I mean, that's probably, but yeah, he was pissed. But that, I mean, he knows. We all know who's the best. So,
Right.
So the belts don't mean nothing at the end of the day. At the end of the day, the belts are just there. the pound for pound number one is Conor, I believe, and I think everybody else knows that. So they can make these fake belts, and they're not fooling anybody. I mean, everybody knows who the featherweight champion is.
Where was he going on that flight? Do you have any idea?
I think he's doing an appearance or something. I'm not too sure. I mean, me
Okay.
and him talk still like almost every day, but I think he's doing an appearance. He was in Belfast the other day. I think he's doing a couple appearances or something like that. So I'm not too sure actually.
Were you in
He's
Belfast?
living the good life.
He is the Mac life, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you in Belfast for that Artem Lobov fight?
No, I wasn't. I was because I mean I was in New York, so I didn't get to fly back to Ireland. But
Okay.
I talked to Artem a lot on the phone before the fight and stuff. I'm really close to Artem, and he had an amazing performance for that. So I was really happy for him. He deserves it. He works his ass off. So that was a great fight for him against a super tough opponent.
In your opinion, the way you view things, how far away are you from coming to the UFC? Because a lot of people, we see Ryan Hall. By the way, let me ask you about this. What do you think of Ryan Hall on Saturday? Very controversial performance. You
I loved it. I was watching the fight and I was like, I hope they give this to Ryan Hall because for us jiu-jitsu guys, this is what we need. We need someone like that. I knew Ryan Hall when I was a kid, so I'm a good friend of his. But it was also performance. And I don't understand why Gray Maynard's getting mad. If you're so good and you're so tough, just go on the ground and try to, I mean, the guy's laying on his back. When I was a kid growing up, I was always told you can never back away from someone sitting on their butt. So doesn't make any sense how you're going to get mad and throw a fit about the fight if someone's laying on their back and you're backing away from a man on his butt. So that makes no sense to me. I think Ryan Hall did a great job. He's a really smart guy, and it was an awesome fight.
How far away do you think you are from the UFC?
I honestly think I could go my first fight in the UFC, and I think I would dominate. And I say that 100% being fact. I mean, I'm not a stupid person. I know what I'm capable of, and I know who I've trained with. I know what I've seen, and I know that no one could kind of rock me or try to beat me. So I always say, yeah, I can go straight into the UFC, or doesn't matter. I'm going to get there anyway. So. Yeah, they want to give me anybody. It doesn't matter.
Well, you wouldn't be the first guy to enter the UFC 0-0, as you know. So perfect scenario. Conor makes it happen. You're part of Team McGregor. You debut in the UFC February, March. Who's the perfect opponent for you?
Maybe Sage Northcutt. That'd be an easy fight, and just to get in there, and that'd be a good, easy one just to get out of the way, and then beat someone that has a decent name.
Well, how about you versus the winner of Sage and Mickey Gall? Did you train with Mickey Gall when he was at AMA as well?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty close to Mickey Gall. I mean, yeah, that could happen. I like Mickey Gall, though. I'd rather fight Sage, but, I mean, obviously there's no friends in this business, so if it came down to it, I would have to, but I do like Mickey Gall, and he's a friend of mine. Or, maybe we could set up that Nate Diaz fight if he was the one that wanted it, but, I mean, I haven't heard anything, so.
So you still want that? You think that this is a very, even though he has, over 20 fights on his resume, you have none as far as
that means nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, that means nothing. No, doesn't mean anything. I always respected Nate. I think Nate's an awesome fighter, but when he called me out, then that's when we have a problem. So I mean, I haven't heard anything from him and about fighting. But I mean, obviously, I respect Nate. I think he's awesome, and I think him and his brother are awesome. But he started this and he called me out. So if he wanted to fight me in the UFC, make it happen.
Have you tried to make it happen? Have you talked to the UFC about it?
I mean, I'm actually kind of close to Dana White, so yeah. I mean, the last fight was a little hectic. I didn't get to talk to him as much, but I mean, they know where I am, so no one's contacted me about it.
When do you think we see Conor fight again?
I'm not sure. I mean, he could do what he wants. He's the double champ, so he can pick and choose. I would like to see him fight Mayweather. I think that would be a cool fight.
You think this is a possibility?
100% is a possibility. 100%. I know he's thinking about it. So, I mean, the boxing world is every guy in boxing now is calling him out. So
sure.
He has options. But I think him and Mayweather would be an amazing fight. I think that at his where he is now, I think he beats Mayweather.
So he just got his boxing license, as you know. Do you think that there's a chance we see him box before compete in MMA again? What do you think happens first? Sort of like the question I asked you about BJJ and MMA.
Yeah. Maybe. I think they have to beg him a little bit more, and he'll do it. I mean, they're all begging him right now. So I mean, he's thinking about it. That's all I could say. He's thinking about it, and it is definitely an option. I know he definitely is on his mind. So if these guys want to make it happen.